Welcome to the Business Heartwide podcast, a podcast about courage through which I invite you to discover and be inspired by the courage of wonderful people, entrepreneurs, and creators around the world. My name is Marie-Ève. I'm your host, and today I have the honor and privilege to introduce you to Tina Chow, a new friend I had the opportunity to meet in Spain. Thank you so much, Tina, for being here and saying yes to the invitation.
Hi, Marie. Thank you so much for inviting me on this podcast, for this interview. I'm so excited to be here today.
I'm excited too. So, Tina, we met in Spain, Valencia, but we are from the same country. Since you are Canadian, your parents are from China and Hong Kong, but you were born in Toronto. And you are a content marketer and a freelance writer. Actually, writing is your passion. Mm-hmm. So you also are a world traveler, and your courage story today is going to be about travel. But first, would you like to share a little bit about who you are, what you do, and your passion about writing?
Yes, so I am a visionary change maker, avid traveler, and passionate writer. And I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada, and currently living and working in Valencia, Spain with remote year. And that's also how I met you, Marie. So I traveled with my family a lot when I was younger, but I didn't travel on my own or with purpose until 2016. And I would say that I am a very curious and creative individual. I love to travel, explore, connect with people from different backgrounds and personalities. And ever since I was young, I also love to read and write. And now I have been writing for over 10 years now. And today I write and create content about a variety of topics, which include travel, personal growth, career development, and women empowerment. So I wear a number of hats, and currently I am a content marketer and freelance writer.
And you've been published too, I think, or featured in a couple of publishing.
Yes.
Would you like to share about this?
Yes. So I have been published on a number of platforms online. So I write blogs and articles. I wrote about my travel experiences, my working and living abroad experience, which I'll talk about more later. But I have articles published about my experience for a travel magazine, Verge magazine. I also write for a couple of other publications, and I work with two organizations, one that empowers women leadership and career development, and another that provides career advice, resources for youth and millennials. And I also have a poetry published in an anthology.
Wow, this is so inspiring. So you love travel, and you traveled a lot until now, mainly in America, Europe, and Asia. You started traveling at a very young age with your family and then with friends. But one day you heard this call from your heart telling you that maybe you should experience solo travel. And that was in 2016, as you mentioned. Yeah. And you were not sure at first, but then you chose to say yes. And you chose to travel alone for 1 year in South Korea, and it completely changed your life. So would you like to share about with us first, why did you choose South Korea for this first solo travel? Why choose 1 year, which is like a big adventure? And of course, we want to know what happened and how it changed your life.
Yes, so it all started back in undergrad when I was studying in university. The final year, I was just lost and confused with what I wanted to do with my life, with my career. And I reached out to someone who really inspired me. And she travels solo, she has her own business. She like as a female, it's very scary to travel alone. And she became my mentor, and that's when she taught me how to network. And so I started networking. I started attending conferences, events, putting myself out there, which was really scary for me, especially as an introvert. And so I connected with a lot of people who were very passionate, ambitious, a lot of entrepreneurs and creatives, people who really inspired me. And I landed an internship before graduating. So that was a very proud moment for myself. And so one connection and one opportunity led to another, where I was also so inspired by my mentors' travel experiences. And I knew that I really wanted to grow, make an impact in the lives of others, and also create a big change for myself in my life, and be a part of something bigger than myself. So that's when I decided, okay, I want to live abroad. I want to teach and live abroad. This is a great opportunity for me to do that. And I did also conduct informational interviews with some people who did live and teach in South Korea, which was how I decided that South Korea seemed to be a very safe place, first travel destination for a female solo traveler. So then I felt very called to do that. I was very excited, and I definitely felt that my burning desire to do this was greater than my fear.
That's so inspiring. So what happened?
Oh, yes.
On this first year?
During that year, a lot did happen, and I felt that it was the best decision I made for myself. And I do have to say, it did take me 2 attempts to apply for this program, to get into the program that I wanted to travel with. And this program for teaching English in South Korea. And because I was so nervous for my first interview, but I really wanted it. So I did the application, interview process. I volunteered to gain teaching experience, as well as completed a teaching English as a second language certificate. And then I made it for the second intake, in the fall intake, which this whole year I lived very authentically and courageously. Throughout the year, there was a lot of difficulties, language barrier, that experience, because also it was the first time I stepped foot in Asia, first time living alone, being by myself, and meeting people from all around the world. And also this year inspired me and reignited my passion for writing again, because I've always loved to write, but during university I stopped a little bit. And that's when I wrote poetry about courage. Actually, it's about stepping outside.
I didn't know that. You didn't tell me at first. That's amazing.
So it's just about when you step outside your comfort zone, you are more capable than you believe. So it's just about my experience. And then I had that poetry published in an anthology. So I was a part of a writing club, a writing group, and they published the anthology. And they also asked, for the writers, do you want to perform that poetry? And I was so scared, but I decided that this was a great opportunity again for me to step outside of my comfort zone, to challenge myself. So I did that, and definitely one of my proudest moments as well while I'm there.
Wow, of course. Congratulations. This is so inspiring. I mean, all the expansion that this choice and all the opportunities that this choice gave you, in fact. And I know for my own experience that when we go in this uncomfortable zone, and that we experience so many diversity and different experiences, different cultures, different beliefs, perspectives about life. It was also your first experience as a teacher.
Yes,
in a new country, your first time in Asia, which is very different from America and Canada. So everything was new. How did you do to stay connected to that courage, and to stay solid, and to stay authentic, really connected to you through all the year, all
throughout the year,
on a daily basis, through all these experiences?
Yeah, so like even throughout the years, I felt that, well, during that year, definitely it was reminding myself that I'm only here for a limited time and I want to continue to grow and challenge myself. So I always remind myself of that. I've actually every year I have a word, a theme for myself.
Okay.
So like that year I had the word was growth, and then the last year it was vulnerability. So then, but for me, throughout the years, I feel like for how I stay connected with my courage for myself is having like a self-care practice. I think it's so important to stay connected with myself, to listen to my body. And I do that through different things such as journaling, meditation, breath work, which I studied recently, just spending time in nature and also making time to rest. I think,
Yes.
yeah, it's always so easy if you're someone, I'm sure yourself as well, you're very curious, you want to do a lot of different things, and then you have too much on your plate. So I think it's always important to stay connected to yourself by resting.
Yes, it's part of courage. I mean, like keeping space for
Yeah.
ourselves, taking care of ourselves also means some time to say no to some
Yes.
opportunity or to
Yes.
some experience so
Mhm.
that we can take care of ourselves and stay connected
Right.
to
Yeah.
ourselves.
Managing
Yeah.
our energy.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Amazing. Um, so you've been inspired by a woman for your travel.
Mhm.
So now you are the one inspiring others to travel. Would you have a message for women or any people who feel this call to travel alone, travel solo, but maybe they don't know where to begin, or maybe they have some fears because it's the first time, or also it can be like a message to any people who want to start this project but are afraid to follow the calling. Do you have a message for these
Yes,
people?
I definitely do. And even after my year abroad, or during that year, I did have a lot of people reach out to me to ask me about for advice for traveling solo, for teaching and living abroad. And I would tell them to trust yourself and follow your curiosity. I think that if there's is something that you really want to do, you should definitely go for it. And I think also you won't always know if it's the right decision or what you're passionate about, if this opportunity that presents itself to you, if it's a good opportunity for you or not. But definitely listen to your body and what it's telling you. Ask yourself, does this opportunity excite you? Or is this a good stepping stone to where you want to be? I think that if you're curious about something, then you can pursue it and see where it takes you, but also reassess. And if it's not right for you, you can always pivot and just keep listening to yourself and trusting yourself. That is something that I need to remind myself and practice as well. But I think it's like definitely trust yourself.
Yes, and I love that you say, you know, of course, when we plan a travel or an adventure, we have a plan, but this plan can change also because this is an adventure. So I think like not being too rigid about the plan is really helpful. And I think that that's what you do too. And also I love that you say, you said, we never know if an experience is going to be good or bad for us. And I think in fact, like there's no bad or good experience. I think it's just an experience. I don't know if you agree. So I think that getting out of this like mindset of good or bad can really assist us through the fears, maybe to just like, because when we don't think about good or bad, we're just very curious and wonder about the experience that we're gonna live. So there's no place for fear in like in that moment.
Yes, and I think it's also like how you're mentioning about those who may have fear about solo travel or living abroad. I think it's also important to focus on the why and the growth that it brings with every challenge, and that everyone experiences some sort of fear when they try something new, when they step outside of their comfort zone. But I think it's important to also like take a chance just to try, take a leap of faith.
Yes.
Yeah, and start
Exactly.
that blog or podcast, travel solo, live abroad, whatever that is that you want to do. And my final tip would be that if the goal or the dream feels too big, I think just to start small and to do something that brings you closer to it, and one step at a time.
Yes, thank you. And you said you talk about podcasts, starting a podcast. So during COVID, you could not travel, which is also your passion. So you started a podcast, which is called Heart2Heart. We're going to put the link below the video, but would you like to talk a bit about it?
Yes. So as we all know, like the last 2 years has been very difficult during the pandemic. And I decided that I really wanted to do a podcast. I've been thinking about it, and then I decided to do that at the end of 2020. And the podcast Heart2Heart Pod is basically two brave souls, myself and my guests. We have honest and vulnerable conversations about a variety of topics such as cultivating self-love, mental health and therapy, and like stop Asian hate, women empowerment. Those are the topics I talk about. Yes. So yeah, if you want to listen and tune in, Heart2Heart Pod.
Yes, we're gonna put the links below. So just before we conclude this this genuine conversation, would you like to talk? I'm curious to know what are your next travels?
Oh, okay.
So now you're in Spain, but I guess
yes.
this year in South Korea really like gave expansion to your passion about travel, your passion for travel. So I know you travel a lot. So I know you're in Spain, but I'm not sure are you going to Italy, or am I wrong? Or
so after this month in Valencia, I will have a week where I will be traveling solo again. So like this program, yes, I'm alone, but then I am with the program remote year. So this next week I will be completely alone again. So I'll be in Seville and Barcelona. And then, but I'm hoping to soon to travel back to South Korea again. It's been 5 years since I've been back, and I definitely want to go back and experience that my home again.
Yeah, do you have many
home.
Yes, that's what I guess. This is now your second home. So you have many friends there, I guess.
Yes, locals and students too. Although a lot of them are a lot older now, but I have stayed connected with one student who's now always asking me when I'll be back. So definitely want to go back.
So do you think that your life would be very different if you didn't chose to do this a year of travel alone?
Yes, I definitely think so, because that year alone, there were so many challenges that I faced that I really know myself and maybe my family or anyone around me did not think I would do something like that. I didn't know anyone, or very few people who are travel solo or live abroad back then. And then coming back, it really shifted my mindset and my perspective. So I think that experience really made me be more courageous with my life. And even coming back, I definitely have a more abundant mindset. And I definitely want to continue to do things that challenge myself, even if it's a little thing.
Thank you so much, Tina. We all received a big dose of courage through what you share, through your experience and this episode. Thank you for sharing your message and your story. This is so generous and inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marie, and everyone who is tuning in. I'm so honored to share my story with you all.
Yes, and if people want to know more about you, your travel, your business, and be inspired by you, they can go on your website, tinaadventures.com. We're going to put the link below the video. You are also on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You also have a podcast. So all the links is going to be below the video and also on the business heartwidepodcast.com. And so thank you all for listening and watching this episode. If you love the experience, please feel free to share this dose of courage with your friends, family, and networks. And see you on the next episode of Business Heartwide Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.